Today, we're gonna turn this old, dirty, dingy farmhouse table into this. I'm Steven with Break Free Homestead. We provide new content every week. If you would consider dropping down below, hitting that like and subscribe button, it really helps our channel out. Today, we're gonna be using this Dewalt orbital sander. We're gonna rip this stain back down on the top. It's been quite worn. The kids have thrashed through it and it just needs a recoat. So what we're gonna do is take this down, and then we're also gonna do this bench while we're at it. Drop down below, let us know in the comments section whether you are doing a table fresh from the beginning or you are resurfacing a table like us. So we're gonna be doing this inside in the kitchen area. So to reduce dust, we're gonna take off the filter and we're gonna attach a hose to the shop vac. This doesn't fit, so we're just gonna throw on some tape and then secure that as best as possible. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with 120 and see if that does enough to strip the stain off, clean it up a little bit. If we need to, we'll try to drop down to 60 and see if we can go from there. Change of plan, guys. We're gonna be dropping it down to a 60. We're stripping all this color off and we're gonna change the color of the whole table, bench, and chairs. All right, so we got the good majority of it done. It looks pretty good. We'll go back and touch up a few spots here and there before we start bringing the grit up, and then we will hit the sides and then the bench. All right, everything's sanded down. These, we weren't able to get everything out, and we're not gonna spend a crazy amount of time on them. Once we put the gray stain over it, it should look pretty good. It looked a little bit distressed with this remaining stain on there. And then, so basically we're gonna sand everything to 120 now, and then 220, and then we'll apply some stain. Whew. We are all done sanding. At this point, what we're gonna do is vacuum it off with like a brush attachment, so we can get as much dust off as possible before we start staining. So today we're gonna be using Minwax Classic Gray. This stuff, you can get a very different finish if you don't mix it right. So make sure you mix it, stir it entirely to get the most consistent color for when you come back and apply another coat. When you do mix it at the bottom, you'll notice it's pretty chunky down there, and you gotta make sure you mix it. If you didn't get it, you gotta mix it. It settles like super hard. I'm just gonna be using a shop rag that I cut in half. It's super easy and convenient. You could use a pad or a sponge, whatever you typically use, but I just use this. Just try not to use too much stain. You don't want it to drip, obviously. We don't have a drop cloth here, so we're trying to keep it somewhat clean. These will be somewhat interesting to see how they turn out. You know, we didn't get all the stain out of these ones, so it might have like a little distressed finish, but hopefully they end up looking okay and pretty close to the table itself. So what we're gonna do, just do the bottom and the sides, place it down on something to hold it up from the drop cloth. And, you know, a little bit of markings on the bottom is not really gonna matter. Alright guys, so we're going to be using the Minwax Clear Gloss Polyurethane in just a simple brush here. This is only like a 2-inch, I think. You could probably use bigger and it would be easier, but this is just what we had. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a decent coat to the, first we're going to do 1/2 and then make sure that's good with the sides. And then once we make sure that's good, we'll move on to the other half and then complete the whole thing. Because this is fast drying and you don't want it to be all tacky when you're trying to work it. Just make sure you clear off any large particles that could mess with your polyurethane. All right, this coat is all set. Now we're gonna let it dry for 3 to 4 hours. The chair bottoms and the bench I put downstairs just for sake of room and the kids not climbing all over them. So I'm just gonna hit those off camera, doing the same thing we did here. All right, so this has been drying for about 3.5 hours now. For the most part, it is pretty dry. You know, some parts where you had it on thicker, it might look a little bit glossier, but it is dry. And what we'll do is now, this is a soft 320 bit 3M sanding block. We're gonna lightly sand the surface just to get the burrs off, bring it down to a nice even coat, and then we'll apply our additional coats. All right, so we have 3 coats on here, nice and dry. It's looking pretty shiny right now. But what we're gonna do now is, this is a 3M super fine pad, and we're just gonna, in essence, buff it and get it to where we want it to be. Loving the way it's looking, nice and glossy. You could, in essence, go up another level on the fineness to gloss even higher if you want. But I think this is where we're gonna stop. It's not perfect, but it's, you know, a lot better than it was, probably 100 times better than it was. And I think it'll be perfect for the quality of the table, and I'm pretty happy with it. Super happy with the overall transformation using our Dewalt random orbital hand palm sander. You guys, this project is a wrap. I love the way it turned out. Super affordable to fix this up, give it a nice change that we're looking for. If you would, please drop down below, hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate you joining our journey.